Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about why it is illegal for an employer to deduct money from a staff's salary as punishment. You come late to work, we deduct 500. But sir, there's traffic in Lagos. I don't care. You break the mug in the office, you deduct 500. You sleep at work, 500 is gone. You make calls at work, 1000 is gone. All of these things happen in most offices. And by the time the month comes to an end, you find out that half of your salary is gone because it has been deducted. But what does the law say? What does the law say about deductions from workers' salary? All workers and employers in Nigeria, whether in the public sector or in the private sector, are bound by the provisions of what is called the Labor Act. The Labor Act is a federal law, and has been in existence for a long time now. All right. Now, under the law, no employer is allowed to make any deduction from the salary or wages of a worker, or even make any agreement with a worker for deductions from salary. They are also not allowed to make any regulation, direction, rule, culture, whatever you call it, policy of deduction from salary, except where such deduction is allowed by law. For example, deductions relating to your personal income tax, NHIS, health insurance deduction, pensions, and all of that. But anything aside that which is allowed by law, it is illegal to impose that deduction on a member of staff. It is illegal to put it in an agreement, in a contract of employment. All right, and any such deduction is null and void. So therefore, all existing rules, so maybe for example, before you got into your employment, they told you one of the things we do here is that when you come late, after 5 minutes, 15 minutes, we're going to deduct 1000 naira from your salary. That is illegal. Even if you sign that document, it is not allowed by law. In fact, it is illegal. And this message goes to both owners of companies, employers, and employees. All right. Now, the Labor Act further states that no employer and a worker can have an agreement, whether it is oral agreement, whether it is written agreement, whether it is email, any kind of agreement, to make deductions or allow fines, surcharges, subtractions from the salary of a worker, apart from those deductions allowed by law. Not even your HRO, your human resource policy, whatever manager, not even the company policy, not even the employment contract, no document at all, even if they paste it in the billboard that this is what we do here, it is unlawful and illegal. People will argue that the Labor Act applies to peasant workers and all of that, but the law, even the court, the National Industrial Courts, have applied international best practices to nullify the practice and to prohibit the practice of employers deducting monies from employees' salaries. All right, because this is bad labor practices. Now, I earlier mentioned issues of legal deductions. So no deduction is allowed except those that are legally, statutorily, lawfully allowed. And some of those legal deductions are your taxes. All right, you pay your personal income tax. The employer can deduct that, and it happens everywhere. Your national housing fund, which is 2.5% of your income. Then your contributions for the national health scheme. Of course, when they deduct these things, they must give you proof that they have remitted it. And if they are having deducting contributions for the national health scheme, then you must be entitled to an HMO in that office. Then the mandatory pension contribution scheme, which is a deduction of 8% from your salary and remitted to your PFA, it is your money. Then the employer is expected, all right, to contribute 10% of their own money in addition to your 8% as your contributory pension scheme. All right, this is monies being gathered for you, saved for you, so that when you retire, when you become old, you can access the money and use it when you no longer earn a salary. All right. Well, also, a worker's salary may suffer a reasonable deduction for loss and injury caused to his employer, but with the written consent of an authorized labor officer from the Ministry of Labor. So, for example, you took an office vehicle and you drove rough and you went to scatter it somewhere. Reasonable deductions can be made from your salary to fix that. But of course, it must be with the consent of a labor officer from the Ministry of Labor. So all of these things I have said, they are backed up by law. All right, they are backed up by law. Section 5, Section 21, Section 91, and Section 92 of the Labor Act support all of these provisions. And of course, court decisions, all right, judicial authorities, we call it judicial precedents, judicial authorities in law, have given credence to everything I have stated here. So this means that all deductions and fines from a worker's salary, except deductions allowed by law, are illegal and must be discontinued. So if those practices already exist in your company, they must be discontinued. All right, except such illegal deductions are maybe welfare dues. Examples of such illegal deductions. Let me just give examples now so that you'll be clear. Where they say welfare dues, somebody celebrating birthday, they will deduct it. The boss is celebrating the birthday, they deduct it by force. Lateness levy, development levy, construction levy, cooperative dues, association fee, annual levy, birthday, death, wedding levies, caution fee, whatever they call it, destruction penalties. You want to drink water, the water dispenser breaks in your hand, and then they deduct from your salary. All of those things are illegal and must be stopped. All right. Now, I except there is a written consent from a labor officer, but that is not going to happen. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you for your time.